I mentioned being burnt out in a previous video, dealing with the constant struggle of hobbying, content creation, and life in general, which I feel like I mention a lot. But in the time between the last video and this video, I took a much needed vacation, and I'm going to share that with you. My vacation, and also how it helped me combat, well, the burnout. And while I do that, I have a box to build. My desk is a mess right now. I have my Asher Gang ladies and a bunch of other projects on there. And of course, I'm going to start a new project, but I figured since I didn't really have room over there, we would have a change of scenery and I would just build it on the floor. I'm going to be building the Kroots out of here for now. I want them because I have this cool idea to make them kind of overgrowth with plants, like they've been infected by them. Maybe they're vegan Kroots who start to become what they eat, kind of like a Turnip 28 type of thing. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Maybe I'll kit bash them for my next video. I also really like the train from this box, and I plan on making a whole universal table that I can play Kill Team and Necromunda, and hopefully in the future, Combat Patrol on. Did not plan ahead and open this. It's such a good feeling. Let's get to it. 12 there. Now decide if I want pew-pews or stabby-stabbies. My least favorite part is finding them on the sprue. Oh, 96. I've been meaning to do something with this box for a while, but it wasn't until I got back from my trip that I had the motivation to do it at all. Where did that go? Oh, found it. Oh yeah, where did I go on my trip? So I took a trip up to the UP, which if you've never been there, is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Uperland, to visit some family and also just to relax and get away from it all. Welcome to the UP. If you've never been, it's quite beautiful. On the other side of that giant lake is Canada. Hi, my Canadian friends. This place will always be a special spot for me. I spent 2 days on the beach of Lake Superior with my toes in the sand, walking up and down, collecting and skipping rocks. The kids and I had quite a rock collection by the end of it. So much so that when I got back, I ended up buying a rock tumbler. I have a few rocks polishing in there right at this moment. I guess I started another side hobby? I also went to a tiny waterfall and I met a little frog. In the back of my mind, all of this will inspire some future bases or terrain. Speaking of inspiration, there is a metal sculpture park that I love to go to every time I go to the UP. This is Lakenland, a forest trail of massive metal, wacky works of art. The best part is it's made by the locals, it's totally free, and you can even bring your dogs. I love this hobby so much, but being able to step away from it, not being around anything that would tempt me to work on something, was actually pretty nice. And I got glue on myself. Okay. Forcing me to focus on what was in front of me, the beautiful land, nature, birds chirping, waves, fresh air, staying off social media for the most part. But it definitely recharged my batteries. I think for a lot of us, this hobby, we like to make it a large part of our lives, and that's okay. But we also have to remind ourselves there's a whole other world out there we could be exploring, and then use that to influence our hobby. One down. When I got back from my trip, I felt so refreshed. I don't know about other people. There's plenty of ways, you got to find your own way to combat burnout. But for me, not hobbying is the biggest thing. Taking a break. Also, pulling inspiration from other people to inspire me to keep making things. But sometimes you keep nailing the head of that nail with your hammer until you're exhausted and you need to put it down and walk away. And that's what I do. So, yeah, I walked away and I came back and I cleaned up my entire studio. That was the first thing I did because just like I feel that if you have a clean hobby space, you have a clean mental space. I don't know. Of course, that was short lived because my hobby space is a bit of a mess again, but I did organize, which is very good. Oh, when you have models all over, it can be pretty overwhelming. Not knowing what to work on, feeling like you have too much to work on. So, kind of clearing that space and organizing them into projects you should finish, projects that can wait a little bit longer, things on the back burner, just kind of figuring out a to-do list can be helpful if you actually do what's on the list. I have this bin on my desk that I showed off in my hobby tour video, but it has a bunch of unfinished projects from all different stages in it. And I started to tackle a handful of those, which felt great to just finish stuff. I also started practicing with my new airbrush as well, Zenithal highlighting a bunch of more projects. I don't think I'm taking my own advice. This is a big factor for burnout, at least for me, just having overwhelming amounts of projects that you've started and never finished. Maybe it's because I moved on to something else, or, my short attention span for shiny projects. Also, maybe it's because I wasn't feeling that project anymore at the time, and I wasn't in the mood to keep pushing through the paint and possibly ruining it. But as time goes on, that project eventually becomes forgotten or just haunts you, staring at you on your shelf, begging you to finish it. Going back and getting that project done, and I say done, not finished, because done is good enough for now. You can always go back and do more on a miniature. You've just got to know when to stop. Some projects get finished and some just get done, and that's okay because perfection is the enemy of progress. Let's choose this head. Oh, where did that go? Such a morale boost for me to get a project done. I use that energy to pour it into a new project. The endless cycle. So I guess my advice is to, one, take a break from the hobby, and then also try to finish things, at least to a certain degree. Knock off all those small projects on your plate so that you can take bite-sized pieces which will eventually devour your backlog, or at least some of it. I haven't looked up the stats on these weapons yet, but I'm definitely going to go with this one here for this dude because the end bit has this like grabby piece that I think I can turn into a flower. So, forget stats, we're going with rule of cool. This is the way. Oh yeah, that's going to look cool. And now they have saved the best for last. It's time for a Kroot puppy. And I'm not even going to lie, this was a big selling factor for me because it's Kroot puppies. Who doesn't want space puppies? Kroot puppy time. These good boys are done, and well, all of the Kroot are built, and now it is time for conversion. But unfortunately, I'm saving that for next video. Boop. I tried a different format for this video, but I hope with me sharing my experiences and rambling on that there was something in there that you could take away from it. Thanks for watching. I love your face. Be excellent to yourself and others. Also, like and subscribe as it helps inspire me to make future content. Happy painting!